Hello, Ryan. This is my response to your most recent installment to Speeches and Stories, Lyrics and Letters. You shared a letter from a Stoic. I believe it was Seneca to Lucitia, I don't know, some other Roman. I was convicted because I spend way too much time doom scrolling. So when I read, or when I listened to your video, watched your video, I realized I need to stop that. So thank you for that incitement, incitement, insightfulness. Today we are going to look at one of my favorite songs ever, "The Parting Glass." So this would be, if yours was the letter, this would be a lyric. My first one was a speech. This is a letter. Or sorry, you did a letter. I'm doing a lyric. One of my favorite songs ever, "The Parting Glass." My favorite edition is the version by the High Kings, but there are so many good ones out there. I will put a link in the description to the High Kings live version. But there's so many. It's in the public domain, so there's a lot of really good ones out there. So I'd encourage everyone to go take a look at the different versions. All right, and just remember, you can watch this as a video on YouTube and on Substack or in the email if that's how you're watching this. But you can also just listen to it in any podcast app. Coffee with Dylan. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So in March of 2022, Crystal and I were able to go see the High Kings at a concert venue in Breckenridge, Colorado. We drove up there after work. We got dinner at an Irish pub, fitting. The High Kings are an Irish band. So we got dinner at an Irish pub and then went to the venue. Now, Crystal had been to a few concerts before. I haven't gone to really that many throughout my life. So we didn't know what to expect. So we got there super early, like at least an hour before the show was supposed to start. And it was completely empty. We were the only ones there. But slowly the venue started filling up. And after a while, we looked around and realized that we were the youngest couple there by like at least a decade. Maybe three, maybe four, probably 4 decades, realistically. Like, we were way younger. In fact, we were so much younger that the couple sitting next to us even said, "Aren't you guys a little young to be enjoying a concert like this?" And, well, I guess that just shows you my taste in music. Well, yeah, Crystal made fun of me for liking them so much because it's an old person's band, I guess. But let me tell you, those old people sure did know how to dance. Anyway, the concert ended with this song, "The Parting Glass." I think it's how they end all of their concerts, as long as they get a what do they call it? Bravo, they're clapping and they're saying, "Oh yeah, come on back." And then is it an encore? I think it's an encore. When they come back and they share a new song, or then they close with this. So it was incredible, and that's a moment that I try to relive when I can. Like, just that moment, being there, seeing it in concert, everybody singing it together, all 30 or 40 of us. There's more than that, but yeah, you get my point. Okay, so here are the lyrics. I'll put a little theme to it, but I can't sing. So I'll save everybody's ears and I just won't sing. "Of all the money that ever I had, I spent it in good company. And all the harm I've ever done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass, good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink a health whatever befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Of all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Fill to me the parting glass and drink a health where'er befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass and drink a health where'er befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Good night and joy be to you all. So this is a pretty popular wake song. I believe it originated in Scotland, but it really gained a lot of popularity in Ireland. And it kind of seems like the singer of the song is the person who uh, is the person who died. But it can also seem like, his friends are singing it to him, whatever the case may be. To me, it listens like a song where it's like the song of a story. It's a story of someone who has really good friends, and for some reason they have to move on. Whether that's to be in the new quest, to start their new quest, or maybe they've died, which is a new quest in and of itself. But for whatever reason, this person must engage in their quest. And instead of letting it be a bitter goodbye, he tells his friends, I've enjoyed my time with you, and my leaving is not bitter. It's one to be cherished. Yes, I will miss you, and you will miss me. Miss me. It's like that scene at the end of Return of the King when Gandalf is looking at the hobbits and saying, I will not say do not weep, for not all tears are evil. Life moves on, and that's the joy and beauty of life. In fact, this reminds me of a quote from Vision in Avengers Age of Ultron. He says, a thing is not beautiful because it lasts. It's a privilege to be among them meaning humans. Our time together does not last indefinitely. It is short. It can be sad and tragic, but it needs to be a reminder to spend your time together well. Remember, we will die one day. We will die, but that doesn't have to be a sad thing. It can mean that we need to do as much as we can while we're alive to live life well. When people move on, we can celebrate the change instead of dreading it and regretting it. So that being said, let's do a line by line analysis here. And I'm not going to do every single one because a lot of them are just the lyrics that I read are as the way that the High Kings read or sing the song. So like a lot of the chorus is just repeated over and over. So I'm not going to do every single line that way. So yeah. So of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company. Financial responsibility is very much a necessary thing. And simultaneously, it's a good thing to spend money and your time in the effort of making good memories with people who matter, your close friends. And all the harm I've ever done, alas, it was to none but me. Sometimes we hurt people, and they do get hurt. That pushes people away, and then it hurts us even more. It hurts us even more than how it hurts them. And that's a sign that we are the broken ones. We tell kids all the time, people bully you because they're jealous of you. We also say, hurt people hurt people. All those kinds of things. But all that hurt, in the end, was just to me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. I guess the phrase want wit means to do stupid and reckless and ridiculous things. But now we're engaging in the quest. We're moving on. And the stupid things that we do should not be remembered. The good things, the awesome things, the good memories that we have, those are the ones that we want to recall. So fill to me the parting glass, good night and joy be to you all. So, out of the way of the life that I've lived, I hope that you will raise a glass to my parting, and do not mourn my leaving and passing. Instead, joy to you. So fill to me the parting glass and drink a health whatever befalls. I'll be honest, I wasn't sure how to interpret this one properly, but for me it means that, like, whatever happens, choose to look at the bright side of things. Difficult things are good things that we can process and learn from. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. As I said before, when difficulties arise, look to the bright side and embrace the lessons learned with humility. Pass the torch on when the time comes. Of all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away. Sorry, I can't help myself. I'm sorry for your ears. I know I'm way out of tune. I don't have a good voice, but I just can't help myself. Okay. Of all the comrades that ever I had, they're sorry for my going away. Friends are sad to no longer be with us, and vice versa. And all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they'd wish me one more day to stay. Okay. This could be seen as, like, all of your girlfriends or whatever, but a more appropriate way of looking at this is, like, think of your one sweetheart. If I were to go on a quest or to pass on, Crystal, I believe, would give anything to spend just one more day with me. And that's true. That's a reality. But another reality is that we move on. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, looking at the next chapter, whether it's death or a new quest, we need to look at it as a blessing and an honor that we're called into something new and exciting. And our memories are there. But they're in their past, and they're not beautiful because they last indefinitely, but because they end at some point. And that's why it's so important that we remember to live in the moment. I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. So I'll take this next step with humility and send reminders. Reminders. We need to send each other reminders of the way that we've lived, the way that we did live, who we were. But for now, we're going to move on, and we're going to move on with joy. We're going to say goodbye in a joyful way. So that's the line by line analysis. The reason that I wanted to share this song, these lyrics, are, well, to be honest, lately I've been thinking a lot about death. Probably maybe in an unhealthy way. But I've been getting really sad for people who don't believe in anything else. An atheist or even an agnostic kind of person who's just like, who this life is it for them. I'm like, I just can't comprehend that. But regardless of whether or not you believe in God, the fact is that we all will die one day. And that's a reminder that our time is limited. The only constant in life is change. So if we combine these two ideas, that we will die one day, and therefore our time is limited, and the only constant in life is change, We don't have time to just regret all the things in our life, in our past. We need to look back on things with joy and gladness that we had time to be with family, that we had time to be with close friends. And now we're moving on, and that's a good and powerful thing. At one point I was really sad that I just came to this realization, and I told Crystal, I said, I will never be able to read all the books that I wanted to read. Which is like, that's such a stupid thing to be sad at, but it's so true. Like, reading lists always get longer and longer. They don't get shorter no matter how much you read, because whatever you read, you know, authors will reference like 10 or more books that they recommend that aren't on your list. So you read one book and gain 10 more. So every book you read, you have to read 9 more to keep up, right? So so that's that. But she said, instead of looking at it as, oh, I don't get to read all of the books that I want to. Instead, we need to look at it as, or I specifically need to look at it as, I had the opportunity to read the books that I got to read. And if we can use that reframing method for everything in life, then our life is so much better. We don't get an infinite amount of time with our friends and family. That can be so sad. This is the last time I'm going to see you. Oh man, I am so thankful that I got to see you. And the way, it's a perspective shift, a paradigm shift. It's the way we have to reframe things. So fill to me the parting glass and look upon our goodbye as a joyful moment instead of a bitter one. And that's all I have for now. So remember, the wind may fall, the wind the wind may fall, the rain may fall, the wind may blow, but there'll still be many miles to go. See you next time.